Splatoon was first revealed during Nintendo's E3 2014 presentation. It was a surprise to media and gamers alike. Like many of Nintendo's other titles, it was bright and colorful, but what really made it so strange was the fact that it was a shooter. Now, Nintendo is no stranger to shooters. Metroid says hi from the lonely dark hole it was left in a decade ago. But even though Splatoon isn't Nintendo's first shooter, it's pretty much the first time the company has directly tried to take on the genre. And they did it in a way that no one expected. Right from the very beginning, it was clear that Splatoon was not another run-off-the-mill shooting game. Instead of putting players in the middle of historical firefights, Nintendo decided to take every bit of reality out of the situation. The characters are Squid humanoid hybrids, not actual humans. The weapons technically aren't even weapons. They're just tools that can spread, not bullets, but neon-colored ink. And the biggest change to the formula, the goal isn't to shoot and kill each other, but to cover territory with said ink. Considering the massive success that the shooter genre has brought to dozens upon dozens of different companies, it was quite the rebellious move on Nintendo's part to do just about everything opposite of everyone else. They say that imitation is the best form of flattery, but Nintendo basically said to hell with that. Somehow, it worked. But how? Why? Splatoon really did have its work cut out for it from the very beginning. The reaction to its initial reveal was pretty tame. People were more confused than excited. But perhaps this was for the better, because it gave the game room to grow into something amazing. As time went on and more media personnel got a chance to sit down with the game, the message gradually became clearer and clearer. The excitement finally began to build up. When 2015 came around, Nintendo began to roll out the carpet. The news began with a Splatoon-themed Nintendo Direct, which gave players the exact rundown of what the game was all about. Needless to say, it looked good. What was definitely the biggest and arguably most important factor of all this was that Nintendo also announced a special demo for the game. Dubbed the Splatoon Global Test Fire, this online-only demo served as both a stress test for Nintendo's servers and an opportunity to give the public a chance to play the game for themselves. I remember this demo fondly because it was there that my love for the game really first began. I truly understood what it meant to actually experience playing a game for yourself instead of watching it through YouTube. I think it's safe to say that that same sentiment resonated with a number of current Splatoon owners. After formally introducing the game to the gamer populace, Nintendo then blew it out to the casual market. Splatoon's advertisement campaign was super massive. From getting word to families via constant TV spots on popular networks like Nick and Disney, to even appealing to the adult crowd by teaming up with Playboy. Yes, seriously. Nintendo was adamant to let the world know about its new creation. Obviously, all that hard work paid off. The game's popularity has led to merchandising in several ways, from collectibles to clothes, to food, manga, and even the creation of a whole new pop music phenomenon. Splatoon didn't just become a new Nintendo game, it became a whole new branch in the ever-growing tree of entertainment franchises. But going back to the game itself, it still managed to become a success when that technically should not have been possible. For starters, it was still a new entry in a very saturated market. If anything, its complete contrast to other popular shooters should have turned players away, but it didn't. Let's also not forget that when it was first released, it was very tiny when it came to content, especially when compared to what we have now. But here we see another successful tactic from Nintendo, making proper use of modern conveniences. In the aforementioned Splatoon Direct, it was mentioned that the game would get a consistent flow of new content via small updates. While many other developers have tried to nickel and dime customers by means of microtransactions, Nintendo opted to be the good guy and give it all completely free of charge. The fact that these updates were constant and admission-free kept the community alive with returning players. But even then, this was just a branch of a much bigger picture. Nintendo was actually making use of online functionality. Having came very late to the party, the Nintendo network was, and technically still is, pretty basic when compared to Microsoft and Sony's offerings. Combine that with the low install base of the Wii U, and you have yourself what should have been a flash in the pan at best. But no, Splatoon not only made full use of online technology, but it showed that Nintendo is willing to step out of its comfort zone and try something different. Sure, this isn't the first time a Nintendo game has made use of online functionality, but never has it been such a core part of the experience. And the fact that the community is still thriving, despite the relatively small amount of players, shows that the Big N's efforts no doubt paid off. Splatoon really is nothing short of an awesome surprise. Being an entry into a congested genre that's constantly being criticized for its reliance on controversial themes in order to attract attention, Splatoon went above and beyond to set itself apart from the pack. From the fact that its gameplay is non-violent, yet still ultra competitive and addictive, to its use of artistic effects and vibrant color, all wrapped up in a box filled with Nintendo's signature charm. This all shows just how dynamic of a company the Big N is. It may be thrown under the bus by countless critics and consumers for being stubborn, but the company moves in its own fashion because it can. And Splatoon shows that. This game really shouldn't be so big. It should not have been able to best industry veterans and get an award. And it definitely shouldn't have been able to push an entire system, all while being a new IP. But it did do that. Ink came, and ink conquered. One can only imagine what Nintendo has in store for the series' future.